Hello, everyone. It is episode 10. Thank you all for tuning in today to Franco's World. I'm the host. I'm the guy. I am Franco. Remember, I have a show, and this is my world, and you're just living in it. So thanks for tuning in. I have a great show planned for you today. I'm going to talk a lot about comedy. The questions on today's episode, the topic of today's episode is going to be about comedy. I'm serious about jokes. So this is going to be it's going to be nice to unveil this side of myself to you all. Thank you very much for listening, wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening. The last bit of the show, I'm going to break down Toy Story 4. I just went and saw that, and I cried as an adult male in the drive-in theater. I actually went to a drive-in theater, get the full effect. It was nice, but I cried, and I have some gripes with Toy Story. So we'll hear about it. There will be an airing of grievances. In the meantime, remember to follow me on Instagram at FrancosWorld_ and Twitter at FMiller17. You and all your friends can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube. Whichever you prefer, I'm everywhere, baby. My face is all over the place. And before I go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll answer all the questions I was asked. Remember these wise words. Whoa, that's not what it says. Remember these wise words from Mr. Frank Sinatra, who said, "Always remember to love thy neighbor, but never let it get around. Hey-oh, I'll see you in a second." So the questions that were asked of me, I like this topic question thing. Feel free to ask any question whenever I get the thing, but I like to maybe have topics. I feel like it helps me flow better, and it gives a certain subject matter to the show for that time. So the questions were about comedy, mostly and particularly stand-up. I feel like most people, when you say comedy, understand that you're talking about stand-up. Some people, though, different definitions for whatever. Okay, so the first question is, that ain't it. What is your personal Mount Rushmore of comedy? That's a great question, because the second question, that comes to us from MH, so thank you very much for the question, MH. And it's so funny because the second question was from IM, who asked if you could combine three comedians into one, who would they be and why? So I'm going to combine both these questions, ironically. So my Mount Rushmore. We're going to start off with Mr. Jerry Seinfeld. Boom. That's my guy. Always has been, always will be. Very fortunate that I saw him in person. It was fantastic. The second guy on that Mount Rushmore is going to be Mr. Dean Martin, who I admire. Very much so. And I will give reasons why later. The third person will be Tina Fey. She's on my Mount Rushmore of comedy people. The fourth person, that it's so hard for me to pin down just one person that really, tapped into my brain as a young kid. But it's really difficult because you could pick Chappelle, you could pick Bill Burr, you could pick who was that? I like to watch it. I mean, you could pick all the people on SNL I watched when I was a kid. You could pick Conan O'Brien or Jay Leno. I watched a lot of him. But I'm gonna have to go with Sebastian Maniscalco because I've finished his book and his whole and I've been a fan of his for a few years now. And just to hear his story and the sacrifices he made to get to where he is, one of the top 10 highest paid comedians in the world, and was the first person to win the award for comedian of the year from the AMAs or whatever, some award show. It's amazing. His story is awesome. I highly recommend everybody go read the book if you're into reading. If you can't read, just get the audiobook. Stay Hungry. It's really good. It's really good. You can also, if you don't know who it is, he's hosting the VMAs this year. That's what he's doing. He's hosting the VMAs. If anyone out there watches MTV, Sebastian Maniscalco is going to be hosting the VMAs. And I was pumped. I was over the moon that they did that. Might actually tune in now. But to see these 12-year-olds tweet replies or put in the comments, they're like, "Who is this?" They're they always just use that Snoop Dogg who? The Snoop Dogg who? That picture. And it made me mad because they obviously don't know who he is, and I respect MTV for going out on a limb and getting someone who can definitely host a show like Maniscalco and brings the high energy, and kids are going to like that. But these kids don't even want to give somebody they don't know a chance. You want the same three people to host everything, huh, kids? You don't want to take risks. You don't want to see what everybody else has. You want to see Jake Paul get up there and dance around and get fake engaged. It's making me mad because the amount of work and time and effort that Maniscalco puts into his act, it's incredible. And he's much more talented than a lot of these, I don't even know the right word to describe them, just like annoying YouTube people. And YouTubers are fantastic, but some of them, like those, you know who I'm talking about, are just annoying. I don't get it. Also, why do none of them wear normal clothes? Whatever happened to wearing normal clothes? Maybe I just don't get fashion, but I feel like nowadays, the worse you look, the cooler you are. That makes zero sense to me. None. So Maniscalco's on the Mount Rushmore. There's 4 people on Mount Rushmore, right? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So, recap. Jerry Seinfeld, Dean Martin, Tina Fey, and Sebastian Maniscalco. They're on the 4. They're the 4 horse people, the four horsemen. Now, if you could combine 3 comedians into one, who would they be and why? So, I'm going to take out... Okay, for this one, I'm just going to take out Seinfeld. Like, I'll just take him out. And I'll combine the last 3 people, and I'll tell you why. So I want Dean Martin because of his style and sophistication and his effortless ability to be seen as the cool guy. They called him the king of cool. That's just what he was. So he sang and acted and all that stuff, but he did do comedy sketches. He had his own show on NBC for years. It was a variety show. It's hilarious. I still watch old episodes on YouTube. And so I want his effortless ability to be cool. That will be one part of it. Part 2 of it, I want Tina Fey's character development ability and writing ability. I think she's an excellent writer, comedy writer, one of the best of all time. So we're good. The years that she was head writer on SNL were some of my favorite years to ever watch the show. And then third, I want Maniscalco's stage presence and his ability to get people to stay engaged throughout. And it's ironic because Sebastian Maniscalco has talked about, like, people would come up to him and be like, how do you, like, what inspired you to, like, be able to move around like that and be so animated with, people are hung up on every single word he says by his, like, body movements and everything. And he's just like, all he tells them is like, Michael Jackson Munich. So I went and I watched the Michael Jackson performance in Munich in like 1985, 86 or whatever. MJ put his whole body on the line. He didn't really sing a ton, but like the lights and like the moving around, and he was on this side of the stage and on that side of the stage, and he got like some scissor lift thing. It was a spectacle, and everybody was hung on throughout. So I think that's what Maniscalco does. He makes people engage by emphasizing certain words or adding a body motion here or there, body movement, whatever you call it. So yeah, I genuinely believe I want Dean Martin's effortless ability to be cool, Tina Fey's writing ability and character like development ability, and then Maniscalco's stage presence and like tone. I love the high energy that he brings. Third question, difficult question here. Most overrated mainstream comedian. It's hard. I really could not tell you a guy I think is overrated. I think a guy that maybe gets too much, like, his face everywhere is Kevin Hart. Like, this is not me saying he's not good. This is just me saying, like, he's everywhere. And sometimes less is more. That's all I have to say about that. Oh, look at the next question. Duh Dank Dorito asked Kevin Hart or Adam Sandler. Well, I guess I just answered the question right there. I guess I'll just go Adam Sandler since I basically just answered the question just now from GD asked the most overrated mainstream comedian question. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. A random guy who you can listen to more of on at Wild and Wonderful Podcast with 2 T's and the at name on Instagram. Great sports show. A couple West Virginia boys doing their thing. So go check that out if you're into sports. A random guy asks top 3 favorite SNL skits. His are Will Ferrell, the More Cowbell sketch, Adam Sandler, Lunch Ladyland, and Chris Farley, the Chippendales Dancer. Those are all 3 fantastic ones. I love all of them. Here's mine, and here's why. The first is going to be an Adam Sandler and Chris Farley one. Schmidt's gay. Schmidt's Gay was the title of the sketch whenever they went over to like house sit or something like that, or like fix an old house, and then this rundown pool, and then they like turned the faucet on, and it turned the pool like beautiful, and all it was just like a bunch of like shirtless dudes walking around, and they were all like really muscular. But it was ironic because they were making just like these funny faces whenever guys would walk by, and like it was like a beer commercial, but it was like a beer for like I don't even know what the premise was. I think they were trying to make like a beer for like gay people or something like that. But it was just really funny to see like their facial reactions is the thing that I found the funniest. I don't know if that's what the sketch was going for, or even like what it was intended for, but like guys would walk by and they would just like slam beer cans together and high five and be like, yeah, like they're trying to be like these like macho dudes, but like all it is just guys gallivanting around shirtless. It was funny. That one I liked a lot. That was one of my favorite old ones. I know, right? That's a weird old one to like, but still. I also liked. Here's one that I think not a lot of people like because it was on one of the worst episodes statistically and written about of all time. The Michael Phelps episode in like 2008. A lot of people did not like that one because Michael Phelps, not much of an actor. And this one SNL documentary, people are like, and we love having athletes on because they're so good at following directions. They said that like condescending, like whenever athletes are on, it's normally not good. But Michael Phelps had this episode, and there was this one sketch, and Bobby Moynihan was just a featured player at the time. And Bobby Moynihan had the Pepper sketch. I don't know what the actual name of the sketch was. I just call it the Pepper sketch. I believe Amy Poehler was in it. And all it was just a guy who worked at a pizzeria, and every time like he walked by Michael Phelps' table, he'd just like, oh, you smell that pepper in the room? And it was just like a constant like reiteration of that. And at the end, he's like, oh, I left my kid on the bus, and then ran off. I don't know why I like that one so much. I can't find video of it anywhere. NBC probably scrubbed that entire episode. But I like that one. I don't know. Yeah, actually, I don't know if I'll put that in the top 3. The only reason I like that one so much is just because I was in middle school, and me and my buddies would stay up and watch that and then like quote it at the lunch table the next day. Maybe that one just has better memories than being an actual good sketch. The Peyton Manning United Way sketch is another hilarious one. I'll sacrifice the Pepper sketch and just do Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning. That whole episode of Peyton Manning is really good. The one whenever they're getting hyped up for the basketball game and they're just playing like 1940s like bugle music is funny. Oh, yeah, we'll go with the United Way sketch when he's just peppering little kids with footballs. That one made me laugh a lot. It makes a kid get a tattoo of his face and he's like, it's going to be there forever. That one I like a lot. And the other sketch, Lazy Sunday, Andy Samberg, Chris Parnell, the first viral YouTube rap comedy thing ever, I think, is one of the SNL digital shorts. And I always lived for Andy Samberg's sketches and the digital shorts that him and the Lonely Island guys would do when they were all working on the show. They had another one. So, yeah, it's going to be Peyton Manning United Way, Schnitzke, or no, not Schnitzke. That's a TV show. Schmitzke. And what was the one I just said? Lonely Island? Yeah, Lazy Sunday. Okay. Lonely Island also had a song that wasn't as popular, and it was called I Ran So Far Away. It was him, Andy Samberg, and Fred Armisen, who was dressed up as Mahmoud Ahmadinejad from Iran. I'm assuming it's Iran because it's Iran So Far Away. And he was like some political figure who said like there's no gay people in Iran, and he was obnoxious. He was a mean guy, he's a bad guy. I don't really know much about it, like his political things, obviously, because I was in like middle school at the time. But I didn't know why I thought it was funny. I just knew that it was. The beautiful melodic piano in the background, Andy Samberg being a goofball, dancing around, a brief appearance from Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh, and Maroon 5 guy. Who's a Maroon 5? Adam Levine. He sang like the chorus. He sang the hook in that song. I Ran So Far Away. It's a really low-key SNL digital short video that I always found genuinely hilarious. My favorite part of the end, he's like on a piano going through the streets of New York, and he's just like, I know you say there's no gay people in Iran, but you're in New York now, baby. I like that one a lot. So go check that one out. Go check all those sketches out and let me know what you think about them. EE. Nope, that's not her name. EB. EB asks, where do you find comedy inspiration? I'm happy you asked that because I'm big time being an inspired guy. I find inspiration from everything around me. The stuff I used to do in college was, please don't think this is creepy. I would put my headphones in and not have any music playing. I would sit in public places and listen to what people think and draw inspiration from the dumb conversations that everyday humans have. I would make notes in my phone about stuff if I heard a funny line or if I thought of something funny, make a quick note in my phone. And then I would go home, or like even I had a funny conversation with a friend and there was a funny anecdote in that. I would take that. Everything that was funny, I take tiny bits of. Because you never, like, it's hard to find inspiration, it's hard to find material, so every little bit helps. A little bit goes a long way. My grandfather used to say that. And I go home and I get out my yellow legal pad pages. I like writing on those. And I have like a whole writing music playlist. And all it is just like 40s, 50s, 60s, jazz and jazz singers, easy listening stuff. I like a lot of Rat Pack stuff like Sinatra, Dean Martin, Tony Bennett, Jerry Lewis, Ella Fitzgerald. Who's the other guy I like a lot? Johnny Mathis. People like that. And I listen to that and it's like, I have a couple Blues Brothers songs on there too, ironically. SNL guys, whatever. I write rhythmically almost whenever it's like I'm in perfectly in line with the music and everything is flowing and I have all my notes out from my inspiration for that day or like I have a title of a bit and I put that at the top of the page and I write every word out and like write the whole joke out word for word. It'll take like 3 pages sometimes if it's a story. Most of the time it's a minute a page, I feel like. And I'll do that and then I'll go through later. I'll put it in my accordion folder. I have an accordion folder with alphabetized. So whatever the joke starts with A, B, C, D, I'll put it in that. And I'll come back to it later and edit stuff. Just continue to edit and edit. And then I'll go on stage and do it. And if it doesn't work, I won't scrap it. I'll just like edit it some more. And if it does work, I won't edit it as much. But you should always be tweaking stuff. It's a whole thing. But where do I find inspiration from? I find inspiration from everyday experiences and also watching old comedy shows. The old ones. Not necessarily, I don't really get much inspiration from new ones. And it's not like they're not fantastic. It's just like everyone's clock ticks differently. And that's how mine works. If that wasn't a good explanation, call me and we'll talk more about it because I really love talking about this type of stuff. SB, great question from SB, says, best dad joke you've ever heard. I'm a sucker for the jokes that end in ER, like words that end in ER. So this year, West Virginia played Rider University in basketball. And for a good 2 days leading up to the game and all day at the game, it was like one of the 2 games I went to this year, I was like, Ryder, I hardly knew her. Those ones kill me. Also, a good one I used to use whenever I was on the Tinder machine, when I was in college and stuff like that on the dating apps, I would like be goofy and be like, oh yeah, if I tell you this joke, it makes you laugh. Like, you give me your Snapchat? What a moron. What an idiot move. I would say, my mom was getting ready the other day and she asked me to hand her a lipstick. I handed her a glue stick instead and she hasn't talked to me in weeks. So enjoy that one. You guys can have that one. I'm not using it. All right. And then the last question before we break down Toy Story and I scream for 10 minutes comes to us from GS, who asks, top 3 comedians you like. Well, top 3 active comedians, I guess are we'll go because we already answered like my favorite of all time. We'll just go to comedians that like aren't like aren't as like, I don't want to say as popping, but like definitely not as big like as like everybody else. So the first one is going to be Theo Vaughn. I feel like everyone saw that one coming. I like Theo Vaughn a lot. I love the fact that he's like, no, I'm not going to lose my accent. Like, this is the way I talk. He has a mullet. He's not letting people change who he is. He's staying true to myself, and that's what I like about him so much. It's I don't know. It's just cool to see people be themselves. Like I hate seeing people see these fraudulent, I don't know, beings. Another comedian I like a lot that I don't think is getting enough love, especially from our generation. I just had him on the tip of my tongue. Well, I like Jared Freed a lot. Um, Funny story about Jared. I saw him in Philly recently. By recently, I mean a couple months ago, and he's just so high energy. That's what I like about him. He's like a young Kevin James. If anyone's ever watching Kevin James Sweat the Small Stuff stand up special, Jared, and not only that, but Jared's just a genuinely nice guy. So when I was in college, I would interview comedians that were like on the come up, and basically just try to like steal secret sauce from them in a nice way. Like I was trying to get like info on how to become a better jokester. And obviously, there's no way of like sitting down and just being like, if you do this, it'll work and you'll be funny. But he was nice enough to take like 45 minutes out of his very busy day. He's like, oh yeah, I have a set later tonight at the Comedy Cellar, the best club in the world. And he's just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm hosting all this stuff. And he was like talking to me like I was a regular dude. It was astounding. But so I interviewed him for 45 minutes and he was really nice and talked to me and he gave me some advice and everything. And I don't know, I just said, like, now I really, here's ironic. He said, I asked him, was like, what's one thing you want to do more of in the future? He said, do the road more, which means touring more. And ironically, years later, my job moves me to a city that he's touring to. And it's just funny. It came full circle and I came up to him and talked to him. And I was like, you probably don't remember this. You let me interview you when I was in college. He was like, oh, I do interview that. He's like, what are you doing up here? And I told him, and he was just like, congratulations, man. That's amazing. He was just really nice. So I really hope nothing but the best for Jared Freed. And what was the other guy's name? I watch his clips all day. Okay. I'm going to have to type in his name on Google real quick just so like I know how to like pronounce his last name. His first name's Nate, and he's from Tennessee, and he has a slight accent too. Maybe that's why I like him, because he's like true to himself. I like Nate Bargatze. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce the last name, and that's really mean of me to like not know how to pronounce his last name. But even whenever they say it, like before they introduce him, like on stage and stuff like that, like I just feel like I'm not hearing it right. So Nate Bargatze is well, he's fantastic, and I just love his like he's like kind of dry, but like he's quick with it. He's dry, but he's quick with it. So check him out. I think he just had a Netflix special like get released, The Tennessee Kid. Really funny. He has this one joke about going. I'm not going to ruin the bit, but he has this joke about going to Starbucks, and they're talking about, would you like this type of cream or this type of cream? He's like, I'm not taking questions right now. Can you please just do it for me? And it was, I don't know, it killed me. I like that. I like Nate. So go check those guys out. Theo Vaughn, Jared Freed, Nate Barzak. Nate Bargatze. Sorry. Okay, I'm taking a quick break. I need water. I get back. Talking about Toy Story 4. Remember to follow me on Instagram at frankosworld_ and follow me on Twitter at fmiller17. And make sure you keep all those questions coming every week, folks, because I read them up. I read them all. And I greatly appreciate anyone who's ever asked a question because it helps the show go. You know. Toy Story 4. Hopefully it's not the final installment of the Toy Story franchise because I'm heated about it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Frankie Four Eyes is on the case, folks. And there will be spoilers in this. So this is your spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Toy Story 4, avert your ears, folks. Toy Story 4. So, Bonnie, as we met in Toy Story 3, the little girl. She's playing with the toys, but Woody is not getting used enough. He's in the closet more. He's not getting played with a lot. He's sad. Bonnie goes to kindergarten. She doesn't get to take a toy. Woody sneaks into the bag, goes to kindergarten, and Bonnie makes a toy. She makes the fork guy, Forky, who everyone likes. All the memes are gonna be like white girls being like, "Oh, me when my boyfriend carries me home and I'm drunk, I'm trash." That's what all Forky's lines were. And I'm trash. I love trash. So I can't wait to see those original memes. Either way, it's a nice feel-good story. Oh wow, she made a toy. Woody's teaching it how to be a toy. They go on an RV cross-country trip. That's the premise of the thing. Cross-country trip, all the toys come along. Even Rex, the anxiety legend. I love Rex. He's hilarious. He needed more screen time. Didn't get enough screen time. And so they're on the road, and Forky jumps out the van. Woody chases him down. Then they get picked up and they get lost. And it's a whole thing. Hold on one second. Gosh dang it. Something's happening in my house. I gotta go for a second. This is actually so sorry. The Forky is like on the loose, and then Woody finds them, and then they're trying to get back to the RV to get back to the family, obviously. So they get stuck in some creepy pawn shop where they have creepy how do we say that? Ventriloquist? Creepy ventriloquist dummies, and some other creepy doll with a string in the back of it. And they're actually bad guys, and then they steal Woody's voice box and all that stuff. Then there's plans hatched to save Woody and Forky because Bonnie loves Forky that she made. It's a whole thing. He's like a main character, even though all he says is, "I'm trash." But it's just, I don't know. 3, I think, might have been better than 4. I know the ratings are better for every single one of them, but I have a gripe with Toy Story. Let me continue with the breakdown. So after they hatch the plan, and then they pull some hijinks and make the parents show up at the carnival so they all can meet and get the toys back safely where they need to be before the people find out the toys are missing and all that stuff. So Woody decides he thinks it's best. Here's why I'm mad. Woody decides he thinks it's best if he just leaves the crew and hangs out with Bo Peep. Woody wanted to get with Bo Peep. And so he left the homies who was with him since day one, who was with him when he was down, when he was nothing. Woody Wood, what are you doing? Gives the sheriff badge to Jesse. The horse licks him. It's a sweet moment. Bo Peep. Arms missing. Woody still loves her. That's a man. I just don't get it. Like, how are you going to do this to me? My childhood. You're just like, you know what? It doesn't happily ever after. All the toys go back with Bonnie, except Woody. He leaves the crew, and he's with Bo Peep now. He wanted the honeys. He didn't want to be with his family. It's a dang shame. And I won't stand for it. I won't sit for it either. I cried. Not because of how sad it was. I cried because my childhood is tarnished. It's over. Cannot believe they did that to me. But they did it. Sorry for that quick breakdown. Place was going haywire. I had to do something real quick. I think that about does it. That's about 30 minutes. Today might be a couple minutes shorter. But in the meantime, you just keep taking care of yourself and keep all those questions coming, folks, because I read all of them. I always do, and I always give people credit, but I also keep it somewhat anonymous because I believe in anonymity. I greatly appreciate you listening to the show, wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening. Remember to tune in next week. We'll be back on Tuesday. And remember to follow me on Instagram at francosworld_ and Twitter at fmiller17. And I hope you enjoyed this block of entertainment just as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. I'll see you when I see you, and I hope you have a great day. See you guys.